Google is your educated BFF.
No, you guys are. Google's just my
Not
smart
on this
hands.
topic.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm coming in raw.
That's why we all
Right?
are coming. And it's purposely that I've been telling y'all, we just need to be coming in raw.
Then we be talking nonsense, like
we talk gibberish. Gibberish.
making up our own theories and
Our own words.
yes,
take that one.
definitely.
But do we have a highlighted? Because I haven't even looked at it.
Ain't nothing there, girl.
Ain't nothing there.
Oh, you're killing me.
You're going in blind.
It's Afterlife. Am I killing
I don't
you?
know. I'm not too.
Right, you're killing me.
I know. I don't know
You
what
want
value I'm
pointers?
gonna bring.
Like,
I don't know what value I'm bringing to this, but I'll try. I'll try.
and I didn't want to like go do these. It's a topic that it's a very, very, I'm gonna say triggering topic because
yeah.
our
Trigger warning.
listeners who are religious, like very religious. I don't think not so much grieving, but I'm happy to see what you got to bring on that topic of grieving and afterlife. But like to me, I see it more of like a scientifical thing than like an emotional thing. So when it comes to my religious friends, it's like it
Can
can
we
be
start the
triggering
podcast
because...
before we get into this?
Hi everyone.
Welcome to Shut Up and Thrive, the podcast that will inspire you to live your best life.
3 best friends who have been growing, motivating, and inspiring each other.
I'm Vanilla. I bring the fun.
And this is Claudia, the passionate one.
And your girl Nair, sprinkling in the creativity.
When you listen to Shut Up and Thrive, it will remind you of your chats with your own BFFs.
Join in every week as we discuss all the things that make you want to shut up and thrive.
So, are you ready?
Let's get into the conversation.
Woo woo.
All right, welcome to all our fams and friends and BFFs who tune in every week. And welcome to you, our first time listener. Welcome to SUaT Podcast. Did I just say SUaT Podcast? Shut Up and Thrive Podcast. But yes, welcome ladies. Welcome everyone. Today we have
welcome.
Rise and shine.
Like I was mentioning, we have not fun, but I don't know what the word is. A very interesting and maybe triggering topic of exploring, because we are definitely exploring this topic. And it's the topic of afterlife. What is afterlife? What does it mean? Where is it? Or I don't know. But yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So Nair, what is afterlife to you? What does that mean to you?
Afterlife is what comes after you die.
Mm-hmm. Claudia, what is afterlife? Now you're not done. You're not over yet, because after you die, you go to hell, you go to heaven, or you go to heaven. You go to
yeah, we can get into that after, but just to get us going. To me, I guess that's a universal blanket statement. It's what happens after you die.
Life after death is called afterlife. So that means there is a life after death.
Ooh.
If you believe that.
Exactly.
Yes, Claudia's
got a little. So I definitely believe afterlife to be like a spirit life without the body.
Is it life if you don't have a body, though?
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be life if you don't have a body?
I'm just asking.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So life is infinite.
Yeah. First of all, what is life? Let's define life before we talk about.
To me, life is infinite. So because I believe life is infinite, I do believe that afterlife is not called afterlife because there's no life, obviously, because it's life continues. But what is it exactly to me? I believe it's the realm where the spirit who has disincarnated
disincarnated? Okay.
Yeah, the soul or the spirit disincarnates. That's where they go to the afterlife. That's what I think.
So would you, from your perspective, would you say that's what heaven is? Would that be what you would call heaven, or you don't use that word?
If I was to say that we go to heaven, to using that word, I don't use that word, but if we say we're going to heaven after we disincarnate, then if we don't go, I know that I believe that our spirit stays in this realm, right?
In this 3D dimension, Earth.
In this Earth, we stay in Earth, which being a spirit can also stay here. So would that make that hell? So I don't really use heaven and hell because I know that Earth is not hell. I know Earth is.
I think heaven and hell is very specific to a particular religion. I'm
Yes.
not sure if it's just Catholic or Christian religion. Again, I'm not that educated in religions, but I think that concept of heaven and hell comes from sort of like a religious perspective. Whereas if you don't have that sort of religious mentality, you understand that again, there's no good, there's no bad, because heaven is good, hell is bad. But if you don't believe in that, then it's more of just a state of being, right? An experience you're having.
Like being in heaven is a state
Of being, yeah.
So heaven
Well,
and hell to me is a state of being.
Let me give you the definition of life per Google. The condition that distinguishes animals and plants from inorganic matter, including the capacity for growth, reproduction, functional activity, and continual change preceding death. So, in this definition, life is before death. There's no life after death, because it's saying all this stuff preceding before death.
To be alive in a body, but so
that's why I asked the question.
Yeah. So
is
the
life
spirit
only with the body?
Yeah. Life force is only with the body, right? But is the spirit dead when it dies? Like we say, oh, we're dead. Are we dead? I don't believe that, because
I think the body is dead. The spirit is infinite, right? Because
and the body is finite. So So I don't think that when the two separate, life, I guess it all depends on how we want to see life. I don't think life is only when but then it's a topic that I will now explore. Thank you. Because I don't think that life ends just because there's no body. Oh, and then again, I don't really know. So I'm going to explore life.
Girl.
Okay, so let's go to this. What do you think is going to happen, or what do you think happens when people die? Like, what do you think? What are either one or two, or how many theories have you thought are possible?
Okay.
Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Me or Claudia?
Well, let Claudia go. She hasn't said anything.
I'm still trying to think.
I know, right?
This is like a question that is like, it could go
many ways.
Anyway,
what are some possibilities that you think of? And you can give us more of your religious perspective too, because you're more deep into religion than we are.
Well, I try. I haven't been to church in a while.
No, I'm just saying, like, you have a more religious background than we do.
But and being a Catholic, we believe in spirits. So afterlife, which is when your body and your soul, your spirit leaves you, you go to heaven. It's either heaven or hell. That's what the religious practice does. And there is the other realm where people stay in between.
Purgatory.
Yeah. When they're not ready to go either way.
They're stuck.
There's still unfinished business on earth.
Well, here's my question. If you're in purgatory, right, can you descend to hell, or do you stay there until you're ready for heaven? Do either of you know?
I believe it's either or. There is a possibility in
you can end
conversations
in hell.
that I can remember from church. It's like you either stay where you are in purgatory forever, or you finally, go to hell or heaven. It's like it's that in between is because there's unfinished business. The person may never finish that business, so that's the realm they stay in. So they don't reincarnate ever.
Right, because Catholics don't believe in reincarnation.
Yeah. That's the other realm. But I've explored growing up. I believe in that. So this is where my separation from church and my own beliefs in evolving with other religions and with other beliefs in the world. So that's pretty much what I was taught when I was little. But growing up, I do believe in spirits and signs and all that stuff.
So you think, no, I just want to know, like, she gave the Catholic perspective, what happens after you die, and you also believe in reincarnation too. So that's another possibility after you die. Okay, Neale.
No, what I was saying, we just mentioned, like Claudia just mentioned, a lot of little things that I was like, no, like the unfinished. What was that word you guys used? Purgatory. Is that what religions believe that you stay in?
Not religions. I know specifically the Catholic religion.
Okay.
Like that's a teaching in the Catholic religion.
Okay. We say Catholic, but
That's
there's a lot of other very, very similar to Catholic that is
yeah,
believes
but
the
I can
same
only
exact way. So
right.
I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna say,
I'm not gonna
and I'm just
yeah,
gonna
I'm not
say
gonna say
religions,
exclusive to
right? For
but
example,
you when you say religions though, there's so many religion that
yeah,
fall under that, but that don't believe that. But we
yes.
know specifically to Catholics, they
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that. I don't
So
know
to
other
all the
religions.
religions who are not spiritual religion, I want to put it that way, just to
Wait a minute. What do you
combat.
mean? Aren't all religions spiritual?
For the
Wh
spirit, I believe that
what's a
not all
religion that's not?
Catholic, I see it as
That's
not a
very
very
spiritual.
it all depends on what you think. What do you see? How you see spiritual? Like, if you don't believe in evolution, if you don't believe in reincarnation, to me, you are not spiritual. That's me. Please come at me, educate me, or what
I
exactly
don't
what
know.
spiritual
Let's see
means.
what
But
spiritual means.
Google is your best friend today.
Right, because I want to get
Yeah.
an
All right.
understanding.
Yeah. While
So
you
it
look,
says relating to or affecting the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. So I think any belief that believes in the soul and spirit is spiritual,
well, I
regardless of
don't.
what you
I
believe.
don't.
But
Yeah.
the definition just said it.
No, the definition
Relating to
says in almost like if it's in a body. Read it
no, it
again.
says affecting relating to, it relates to, or it affects the human spirit or soul. That's what it
Okay.
is. Anything that's
No,
affecting the
read the whole
human spirit,
sentence.
as opposed, meaning the opposite of not being spiritual, to material or physical things. The opposite of spiritual is in reference to material and physical things. So spirit is things that are not material. It's our soul, it's our spirit. So
Mhm.
any religion that talks about your spirit and your soul is spiritual because that's what it is. Spirit. The
Okay,
word
so let
spirit
me
is in the
let
word.
me rephrase it and say spiritual enlightenment. Because most religions that I know is you are alive. Going back to the alive topic, when you are present in your body here on planet Earth. When you die, depending on how of a person you are, some religions say you go to hell or you go to heaven. You may repent to go to heaven, or
Whatever
I
their beliefs
apologize
are.
for being ignorant with all of that, but so just to say, just to separate those different types of religion, to the religion who believes in what I was just saying. Life is, it's either you die if you are good, you go to heaven, you die, you were bad, you go to hell, and then it ends. And then there's religion or spirituality, which understands the importance of, even when you are disincarnated, that life force, without the matter, obviously the life force is still alive, and it's still a process that of
Okay.
evolution and things. So afterlife, going back to afterlife, that's, to me, afterlife is the school for the soul, as the earth is the school for where the body is able to, for example, guide the soul to, like maybe what the religion say, do good, to seek enlightenment, to seek education, to seek understanding, to seek evolution of the soul.
No, I understand what you're saying. So your perspective is that we're continuously in this cycle of rebirth, becoming reborn in order to get to that
Spiritual
enlightenment.
evolution.
In order to get to that enlightenment. Whereas some religions, when you die, you just stay in you don't reincarnate, you don't continue to evolve, your spirit just stays in that place. And
In that place,
honestly, I really
yeah.
right, whether it's heaven, hell, purgatory, whatever. Your soul goes to that place and it stays there. And where you end up is dependent on how you live your life here. And I honestly feel like, again, I might be religion bashing when I say this, but hey, I'm just going to say it. That type of thought process was given to people as a way to make sure they were good in this life. Because if you thought that this was your only chance to quote unquote be good, because what happens after this life is forever, you would do your best to be good because you had no other chances. But if you believe in reincarnation, then you might think, you know what, I have a chance in my next life. So if I'm not that good, I'll redeem myself in my next life. That could
Mm,
be, yeah, because you
you
could be
thinking that could be what somebody might think? Like,
yes,
oh,
that
I'm
could
gonna be
totally
a
be.
fool this
Not
lifetime,
that
so
you're
this
gonna
next
be a fool,
lifetime I'll
but
do
like
better.
if you knew this was your like, okay, let's say you're a sports player and you have to make this shot, a basketball shot. If you knew you had only one chance, you would probably work harder than if you knew you had three chances. If they were like, you have one chance to get it in the hoop, you would try harder if you knew you had that one chance rather than if you have three chances. You're like, okay, if I don't do so good, I can, you know what I'm saying? Like, sort of like that perspective. So to me, I feel like those types of religion that makes it seem like this is your one shot was given to people so that they could like brainwash them into think that your soul is not on a journey and that each hey, I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there.
No,
You know
I
what I
get
mean? Like, I'm not saying that's my belief. I'm not saying that's true. I'm
No, I
just
get
putting
you.
it
I
out
get
there
you.
as a theory because a lot of these religions, like Christianity, are fairly new compared to like Buddhist, Hindu, all those other more ancient religions. I feel like those religion were fear-based religion, right? And that can tie to that whole idea of this is your one life, your one chance to kind of create that fear among people.
Yeah. And
You
it's
all
know?
of
more a
that to
sense of
me,
control. I think
yes.
Right.
I think we
Control
said
Yeah.
it
or
last
even
when
to
we
hide.
discussed religion, that religion become it's like a state of order, just like we have laws and all of the stuff. So it's population control, and it's how they want to guide society to behave.
Mhm.
And yeah,
That's where
if you
religion
ask
comes
me, I'm like, it's exactly just for that, and to
Control, yeah. Out of
conceal,
fear.
not just to control, but just to like to conceal truth,
Mhm.
universal laws, which
Right.
one of them being reincarnation.
Right, because when you think of what we really are at the core of our being, we are energy. You cannot create, you cannot destroy energy, you can only transform energy.
from.
Mhm.
So, if we are energetic beings, death is a transformation and not
And the
a
body.
termination. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yep,
Hey,
it's
Yeah.
definitely part of
that's the line.
evolution.
It's a transformation, not a termination. Because again, when like Vanilla was saying, when you study science and you know biologically how our bodies are, and not just us, plants, animals, right?
The different
Because they have
lights, yeah,
life.
the life
They have
force.
life as well. What keeps us going is energy. That's
Mhm.
what really is life, is
That I
energy.
believe energy is the life found in those. I don't know. It probably is probably more, but I see three different categories of life. Right? There's
Life force.
human, there's animal, well then there's vegetarian, and then there's the matter, which is like the rocks, I believe, and the thing. So there's different stages of evolution when it comes into those different categories of life force. So yeah, what were we talking about?
What are theories in terms of what could happen to us after we die?
Okay. When we disincarnate, that's the word, right? When our spirit
I mean, that's one
leaves
of the
our
words.
body,
Yeah.
body's like, oh, some of them linger around because there's unfinished business. There is never unfinished business for a spirit who has disincarnated, right? There's an enlightenment stage. There's the enlightenment or the knowledge to say, I don't belong here. You know what I mean? I need to go. I need to go to the realm where I belong with the spirits, right?
When you say I don't belong here, well, you're here for a reason. So maybe
No,
it's
as
you've
being disincarnate, I'm saying like when the life to go
when
to
the
afterlife, you cannot stick around here in the realm of earth.
but
Whatever.
don't you believe some spirits do?
Oh yes, I believe many, many, many spirits do. Why?
What helps
Because
them leave?
enlightenment,
As a
like
spirit without a body?
as a spirit without a body is all the stage of enlightenment. Because when there's that whole thing, oh, you see the light, some rush to the light, some go, and then
Mhm.
others really linger. I believe that it can attach. Maybe someday we'll talk about this, how people in coma stays in coma for many, many years. Why? It's because that spirit, the lack of enlightenment, wants to hold on so much to that body, to the life they had, to their family. And then there are spirits who disincarnate but still long to hang around her grieving mother or kid, or just another old soul friend that has also disincarnated but still hasn't left. You know what I mean? So they choose to stay in that realm. But if you're enlightened, the more of an enlightened soul you are or spirit, you know that you leave because you know that you come back and reincarnate, and it's best to go and then
Find
I'm
a
not
new body. Get a new
yeah,
fresh body.
reincarnate again too. And it's not even about the body, because I also believe, I feel like this conversation is more about reincarnation than afterlife, but cool. It's like, it's not finding the new body. Is, to me, when a spirit reincarnates, is the understanding that it's just, when you reincarnate, you come to the school to be enlightened, to become an enlightened spirit, enlightened soul. It's not in the afterlife that you're going to be enlightened and learn. It's planet Earth. That's the school for the soul. We need a body, yes, to be in the school for the soul, because if you don't take care of your body, you're not taking care of your soul, right? Your health, your nutrition, everything that we do here helps us become a better soul. And again, this conversation can be crazy because there's, oh, but what about babies who disincarnate, right? What about things that happen that are not supposed to happen, but that person dies? To me, it's all definitely a process. It's and there's a lot of things that happen in life that we have no control of, right? That may cause us to disincarnate before our time. I believe that. For example, there's disasters. There's, with a pandemic that we just went through. Those are things that we didn't have control of, but it did put stop to so many different lives, right? And then there's disasters, there's things, and it is the same as, for example, you disincarnate because you fell into like vices and you made the wrong decisions in your life that got you to where you are. You didn't eat well. The doctors say, you know what, if you don't cut alcohol, you only have this long to live. But if you cut alcohol now and change your lifestyle, you might live a little longer. Those are choices that people can make in life, right? So that's why taking care of our spirit, our body is very important in the school of life for our soul, for our spirit.
So, do you think you only reincarnate on Earth?
Yes, I think I only reincarnate on Earth because that's the enlightenment stage where I'm at. Because
But okay, I
reincarnate
mean
means a
overall, like
spirit in a
people.
body.
I mean, like, do you believe that others can reincarnate elsewhere other than Earth?
Others how?
Like other
Others.
beings, other souls. You said me, that you believe you reincarnate on Earth. Do you believe that other souls can, or just we
I
only
don't know if I
reincarnate on Earth?
understand. You reincarnate means when the spirit enters
A
the
body.
body,
So I
right?
guess what I'm really asking is, do you believe in life outside of Earth?
Yes, the afterlife, the spirit world.
Right, but I mean, like, there are other planets, there are other universes, there are other galaxies. Do
Mhm.
you believe that our spirits can enter bodies? Do you believe there are bodies in other universes?
I believe no, because if they were, then I believe they were intelligent enough to be present. And if I don't know of them, why would I want to believe that? Why do I want to think there's bodies in other planets if, excuse me, I've never seen it, or I'm never able to introduce myself to them. They were never able to introduce myself to them. Do I believe that there's spirits and souls and forces, energy in other planets? Definitely. Look at our galaxy. Look at the world. It's like it's beyond my understanding in this lifetime.
So
But
you'll believe that the human beings only exist on Earth and there's no other areas that they could possibly exist?
yes, ma'am, to my
Okay.
knowledge, this
How
is
about
where
you, Claudia?
Yes, I think reading and things like that, that humans are only on planet Earth. I think there are other beings possibly in other planets in the galaxy, but we're not told yet about it. Like I always feel like there are the hires that control the people who control planet Earth know more than the people who live within the
The
smaller
people who control planet
planet
Earth.
Earth.
are you
See, it's
quoting
not
her?
I'm trying to wrap my brain around that. You think there are a select
I
group of
think there are,
people
like,
that control planet Earth?
definitely, there are selected beings, humans, who are knowledgeable enough that have these visions, like knowledge of
They have
things
more
that
information than we do.
more information that we could even, we are just tapping into the things that we embodied and feel that we want to know about. You know what I'm saying? Like we're curious. So we tap in and we want to read a little bit about this and want to connect to that. So we're more in line that there is something out there. There are things out there that are unexplained enough to us that we want to continue looking into. So those people that actually know or have connected to those information basically control the world. like with their information. It's crazy, but that's how I feel. It's not a conspiracy. It's nothing. I
I
don't think
mean,
of it as like that. I think of
yeah,
like knowledge beyond what other people know to make this planet run a certain way. You know what
yeah,
I'm
that's
saying?
fair.
Because we all have to be under law and order. There's got to be something. There's going to be a left and a right and up and a down. So there's something out there that we don't know of, but we, as a group of SWATs, are digging into it.
Yeah, I think us as like souls who, what I say, enlightened, who strive for enlightenment, who believes in spirituality, who believes that your soul is immortal, we're gonna think, why not? Why wouldn't there be a life? And we also know or believe that if there, for example, certain religions go work hard enough to like hide truths from us or create laws or things to control our thought, that is proof right there that yes, there's that, while like Claudia was saying, there's that population of the world who probably can aid in people enlightenment but choose not to, just I don't know,
To have
maybe
control
they're
is
not to
power.
have power and control, or maybe they're not enlightened themselves to the point that that power and control is so necessary because they don't believe in it. They don't believe in no afterlife. They believe when you die, you're dead. So let's control these people and make them believe that this is what it is. Like there's no such thing as evolution. There's no such thing as incarnation. When you die,
There's
your
no
soul
way.
is dead.
There's no way that they don't believe it. They absolutely know it. They absolutely have proof of it. What they're trying to do is to make sure that we, as the people, the humans, don't get enlightened to their power. That is the evil work. That is the part where there's the good and the bad. And there's only a way of saying the good and the bad, because these people are enlightened. They have the knowledge. They were placed with that information. But when
Well,
you
let's not
cahoots,
use the word enlightened to people who
Yeah,
are at the
because I
same
don't
time
think they're
evil,
enlightened.
because
I think they
that's
just
right,
not.
know and
they
choose
know,
to
but they
do
don't
the
use it the way
opposite.
that it should be used for the power that they have, because
They have
they'd rather
knowledge that
be
they do not
powerful.
understand. They have
Because if
knowledge of
you
things that they do not
understood,
understand. So if them being the controlling population do not understand, why would you let it out there, right? Why would you let anybody know of it if you yourself have no understanding of what's going on or comprehension? You don't want it. You don't want it out there. But this time of age, we can definitely see that. I mean, we've been challenging men before Christ. There's been I wouldn't say gods, how do I want to say, there's been enlightened souls who has written down things, right, that have been hidden from us, that really brings enlightenment into perspective, that this population, controlling population, doesn't want us to see, doesn't want us to know.
what do you think would happen if we knew? What do you think they fear happening?
Oh man, never thought of that. What are they fearing? I think they just fear themselves for not knowing the answer. Since you are the controlling population, if you don't know it, that's your fear right there. We cannot let this out because we don't know what this alien came from or what it's doing. We don't know. So that's what they fear, the unknown. Leave it at that, because
It's interesting.
how about you, Naya? What do you think they fear?
I don't know. I have a lot of theories and I don't know which ones I believe. I'm open. I'm just open and listen to everyone's thoughts and just try and I just think everything's a possibility. I just don't know. You know what I mean? So I don't say I believe in this, I believe in that. I just say it's a possibility. You know what I mean? Like I believe or not believe, but like I think there's a possibility that there are parallel universes out there that I mean, there's so much that we don't know.
Yeah.
How can we rule that out?
So
I
that's when we
believe in
cover it.
dimensions, I believe in dimensions, right? We're living in the third dimension. I believe there's a fourth, fifth, sixth, so on and so forth. Dimensions that there's so much to explore there. And where are these dimensions?
But their
You know what I'm saying?
dimensions, yeah, they're dimensions for that reason, right? They're, for example,
Right,
afterlife is a dimension. I'm not sure what
right.
number, but I think that dimension is where the afterlife, that dimension is where our souls, our human, when the human
So what
body
if us like me, I
leaves,
believe like,
goes to.
okay, when I pass away, if my soul doesn't want to come back to the third dimension, I'm not coming back to earth, but I do believe that maybe I want to go to the fifth dimension, sixth dimension. You know what I'm saying? Like, or do I
Wait, what's
explore
the
the
fifth dimension, sixth dimension? I mean,
I
we've
don't
never
know.
talked about this. I've never read into this, but are
Yeah.
there physical bodies
If we
in
have
the other dimensions, or is it dimensions?
I think the fourth dimension, there is no time or space. That's where is where time and space meet. That's the fourth dimension.
So isn't that like almost a gateway to the afterlife or the afterlife?
It could be. But I also believe that, like, when we dream, we're in a different dimension. You know what
Well,
I
I
mean? I
can't
don't
wait.
know.
Yeah, I
That's my
can't wait to
theory.
talk about the
You know what I
dream
mean?
one too. And then
But
I
yeah, that's
believe
another thing
that
I wanna
I
explore is
also
dimensions.
yeah. Well, no, this dimension is fascinating too because I believe like when a soul, so can you, for example, you can be very not ignorant, you can be ignorant of what enlightenment is, and then you can be very enlightened. So I also believe that there are souls who have reached that enlightenment level, that they are in maybe these certain dimensions that you're talking about. Because
Mhm.
if your soul is not enlightened enough to be in the fifth dimension where Nai wants to be, I don't think you have a
I'm not saying I wanna
choice.
be, I'm
No, I'm just
just
saying, you just said
saying.
it. It's like, I don't think you really,
I'm gonna go to the
I
sixth
think you might
dimension
have a
today.
choice to stay
Choose.
lingering. I don't think you're enlightened to a level of your understanding, and anything
Yes, I
before
believe that.
then you're not. Like, if you are enlightened enough to be in the fifth dimension, you have no idea what happens in the sixth, the seventh, or the eighth, or tenth. But I do
Right, but
believe a very enlightened soul has a dimension where they can go there and stay there and
do you
choose
think they
because
come
they're
back
that level.
down? Let's say
Go
I
ahead.
come back down to the
Can I come back
3rd
down?
if I'm in, let's say,
I
the 5th?
I believe I want to believe so. For example, I believe that we reincarnate on planet Earth because that's the dimension where we grow as a soul, right? That's
Yeah.
where we get enlightened. So, do you choose to come? Yes, I believe enlightened souls definitely choose, especially when they come with a strong purpose, like many enlightened souls that we know of
Mhm.
that comes to do their purposes, right? For example, I'm going to be like, I'm not going to be like Buddha or anything like this. I'm going to say, for example, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When I think about my ancestors that were very enlightened, he is always one of the first ones to come to my head. He was enlightened, an enlightened soul. Amilcar Cabral was an enlightened soul. So basically, what I'm saying is like these great humans who have come to who have incarnated in planet Earth and changed how our life is. Like that, their purpose was so strong. Basically, they die for that purpose. They're enlightened souls who might not choose to reincarnate again.
Yeah.
There will definitely be more evolving souls that might come to face other things that is coming, to planet Earth.
Yeah,
But I
like people
believe
say Jesus is coming back, like all that stuff.
correct. Jesus is probably was the most enlightened soul that ever lived on planet
Mhm.
Earth, right?
Yep.
So is he coming back? No, he's here, and so he will not coming back reincarnated, but he will choose to come as the guides. Like we say, you pray for them, they guide you, right? You pray for Jesus, you call for his help. If it's a deep belief in your heart, they're there. But these enlightened souls also know that you can cry, you can pray for Jesus all you want, but if you, as your own soul, you're not working hard on your body, you're not taking care of your body, you're not going to school to learn, then there's so much I can do. They don't have a magic wand. They want you to learn, they want you to be enlightened. That's why following Jesus Christ's principles is probably the easiest thing for any honorable person to be like an honorable soul. And when you design,
So what do you think happened to Jesus' soul?
I think it was very enlightened that it went to what maybe Christians will
Source?
say heaven, but it went to its source and it's there. And it's that energy that we can tap into to help us be enlightened.
So you think eventually all humans, once they go through this cycle of reincarnation, will get to a point that they'll just be with source for infinity?
Amen. Mhm.
So then there'll be no humans on planet Earth.
Oh, there'll always be human because there's always young souls. And looking at our world, how it's going right now, there's so many souls that need to reincarnate like 100 times over for the things that they're doing, for the lack of spiritual logic that they don't have.
So what about,
Evil.
do you believe in this theory, like the Earth hasn't always been here? Because, we're on
News,
planets are
right?
stars that burst, and like our sun is eventually gonna, whatever they do, those whatever stars do. Do you believe that Earth will go away and a new Earth will be created, or what do you think of that?
Am I believing that if humans have the power to destroy Earth?
Not humans, just stars burst. Like that's what
Mhm.
they do. Like they have a life cycle too. You remember
Yeah.
their energy. Like our Earth has been around for whatever billion years, and eventually it's gonna run its course as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like
But is it
other
and
planets
is it
have
gonna run
had
it?
beings. Like
Yeah. Is it
Mars, they found like water on Mars and things like that. So like all that could be an indication that at one point in time there were beings on that planet.
there's
The sun
beings,
again,
microorganisms, there's different life, vegetation, yes,
right, I
obviously,
understand.
probably, but, like, me, myself, as my knowledge is planet Earth is where you're finding humans, right? There
I
might be, like you
understand. But
said.
what I'm saying is when we get to the point where Earth is no longer here, that's why I believe in parallel universes. I don't believe that this is the only planet, the only universe, the only galaxy. Because remember, it expands even further than
Mhm.
that, where human life exists. Because again, why would we think that we are that special when we know the grandness of the
Yeah,
universe
but
and
I
beyond?
also think it's going into knowing how special we are and focusing our time on this planet Earth to evolve here and not question it, life on other planets and
Why not?
spend
It's
build
part of the
because
afterlife because
mm-mm,
again, it's a possibility
mm-mm.
that you can go to a different
We
galaxy.
spend yeah, but right now we know ain't nobody going to no different galaxy as a
Maybe
body,
not
like
our souls, but maybe
body.
as I'm enlightened, once my soul is
Correct.
enlightened and
So
it's
our
done with
job
Earth,
right
I
now
could
here
potentially go somewhere
is not
else.
to spend billions and trillions of dollars making spaceships or whatever it is
Yeah, I
up
agree
to
with
go.
that.
You know what I
Like, I
mean?
agree with that. But my thing is when you study science, astronomy,
Mhm,
what Earth is made of, what the sun is made of,
mhm,
what planets are, what this, when you study all of that
mhm.
and things outside of Earth, it only makes you wonder.
Yeah,
Like, I get it. I understand. Like, we are nothing, but yet
and
we
that's
are
the
everything
beauty
at the same time.
of our
Right.
soul.
We like the whole cosmos, like what is in the sky is also within us. When you break it down to our cells, everything that is in the universe is in our cells. So like I understand that theory 100%, and that's why I do not discount the fact that we don't know. So I cannot say that I'm always going to be recycled back to earth. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? I don't believe that because it's not that I don't believe that. Like that is a possibility. Yeah, that can
mhm.
happen. I can
Well,
continuously
then my
recycle
belief
my
would
soul to earth.
sorry, my belief then will say that we need or have to be recycled back to earth until we reach that enlightenment enough to be able to step into the different realms that you're talking or
Yeah,
galaxies that you're
absolutely.
talking about.
Right. So but
So
what you
yeah.
were saying was like, that's not a possibility.
No,
Like
no, no, what
that.
I was saying is, like, why do we want to waste our
Explore that while
energy
we're here. Yeah,
exploring
I
that if
agree with
we
that.
know that if we believe or
Right. I
know
agree
that
with
we're
that.
not going there until we've reached that enlightenment?
Absolutely. And there, like you said, there are those like people who are trying to create life
Correct.
on Mars, like trying to create
Yes.
like tours
Yes.
in space.
While
Like
babies die
why?
of hunger. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like, can we all just make it so that we are living our best lives, every single human on here? If we have the capacity to explore outside of our world, why do we not have the capacity to fix all of the problems that we have here on Earth?
Hallelujah. Interesting, huh? Fascinating.
Yes, very.
I just wish though our listeners would be back like, girl, I'm getting into this conversation, but please do. We welcome it. We thrive from it. So
But a lot of people don't have these conversations. Do you think they fear like what people might think of them if they talk about these things?
yeah, definitely. Like right now I have a little fear like, oh my God, my grandmother would hear me right now and she'd be like, girl, you're going to hell, because of what I'm
We are
saying right
breaking the
now.
rules.
But yeah, it's my yin yang life. I have a grandmother who believed very much in, the enlightenment of our spirit, of our souls, and then I have a very Catholic one, the two sides. So I'm always in the middle, like, yeah, I want to learn from you. I want to learn from you, and then I can make my own choice, and that's what life is about, right? And I
I don't
think
think I'll ever get to a point that I'm like, this is my belief. because there's so much that I learn and so much that I question, there's so much that I think about that I don't know. I'm always gonna be like, "I don't know," and when that time comes for me to know, I will know.
So that's your belief that you're
What?
constant learning, and it's beautiful because it just shows that you are up for the whole enlightenment, of your spirit, because it's knowledge, and it's being a good person, it's character, it's building honor, and above all, it's love, 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 love. That's what Jesus was, that's what Jesus showed us, and I think that is what really gets us to understand purpose here on earth. And it's love that will help us when we do disincarnate to go to the afterlife and not linger around because our family are suffering, crying. Like, I believe a good thing about enlightened person is someone who does not fear death, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so someone who doesn't fear that to me is an enlightened soul because they understand the process. They understand the magic and the beauty and the secret of it all.
Or they welcome the unknown because we honestly, truly do not
Like,
know.
ooh, yeah. Again, so cool. Any thoughts, Claudia?
It's too deep.
Claudia's like,
It
"Girl, you
is
guys
deep.
dug a hole. I'm trying to climb out this hole."
No, it's deep, and then when you grow up, for example, you grow up very Catholic, it's like can be like a new page. Like, what are these girls talking about? Like,
Claudia must think we're so
it's
weird. Like, where did these
Well,
girls come from?
you guys are me, and those are my questions. It's just
Yeah.
I don't talk about it as much, but I feel the same way. But I definitely feel the spiritual realm and connection and reincarnation, and I wonder sometimes I'd be like, I wonder if that's part of my grandmother or my great grandparents, and this like sibling that I see, like I question a lot. Well, as you know, my brother passed, and then my niece was born, and I look at her all the time, and I'm like, is that a little bit of you? I'm questioning, like, is that a little bit of thing that I see there? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, because I'm so open to the spiritual realm, I'll say those things, and my family will look at me like, yeah, yeah. But I'm like, I know they look at me like Claudia's crazy.
hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, doesn't it remind you of so and so? But does the spirit come back? Does it stick with the same family unit, or does it go to some other
Yeah, that's another
families?
question.
That was like, I always think of that. I'm like, I wonder if someone else's family that they disconnect from that family, or
Mhm.
they stay connected to that family. So they reincarnate into the same family. I would love to know. If anybody who's listening
But
knows, please let me know.
even the family itself is not a constant thing. So the family of humankind, that's what it
We
is.
are all family,
Yeah.
ultimately.
So meaning it's hard to say that same. I don't actually know exactly what you mean by the same family.
Like my grandmother's
Her
side, my grandfather's, and everybody's family, like that side of the family that's connected to me, does that family stay in with, like, does that spirit stay within that realm of that large family, from the parent, from the father and the mother side? Does it stay connected within that? Or does it go to another one that's like, I know we're all connected in somehow, but being raised by these people and, beliefs of these people, does that spirit come into that same circle,
like,
or
to be around the same people you were around when you were
Yeah.
alive.
when you were alive? Yeah, like I
I
always
think it
question that.
depends on the spirit, like, and what your mission's gonna be in that lifetime.
Mhm.
And now your mission, again, going back to this being the school, so you're going to incarnate in a body that hopefully is capable enough to serve its purpose of
The next
helping
and
you
yeah,
learn that lesson.
yeah, that next step.
So do I need, like, when a spirit chooses to incarnate, is like in the same time, it didn't just choose a body. I don't believe it just chooses a body because it just wants to reincarnate.
It chooses its
It
purpose.
it chooses its purpose, it chooses
Right.
who's going to guide it, who's not going to guide it, chooses maybe the body, even to the deformative, like, okay,
Mhm.
so for example, I'm born blind. I don't think the spirit is like, oh, I chose a body that can't see.
Like you
No,
don't know what you're gonna reincarnate into. You
correct.
just
I
know
think
what
you
you're
know.
mission
trying
is.
to
I think,
overcome.
yeah, and I think the spirit, I believe that the spirit does know. For example, it's not by luck or any chance that you incarnate in any body. It's a purpose. It's, you're your body, you're your beliefs, you're your family, because it's all is going to serve a purpose, which is what they enlighten you, right? To do better, to like almost like make up time or do the things that you didn't do on your past life.
Right. Okay.
That's what I think.
Based on what we've read and experienced and things like that. But yeah, the afterlife.
The word purgatory. I haven't heard that since forever.
Right.
In my Bible
Yeah,
reading
'cause
days.
it's
But
not something we talk about. Like
yeah. So purgatory, it's the body is gone,
gone. Yeah, it's where the
but the
spirit
person
goes.
is lingering.
Stuck.
So that's just when you choose not to go to where you belong and you just linger. That's the purgatory thing.
You're saying
But why do
choose, but I feel like from the religious aspect, it's not a choice. You're saying choose,
oh,
but
okay, but
the way the information is
yeah.
presented, it doesn't, again, to me, how I've learned about the word purgatory, it's not a choice. It's almost like, oh, because you didn't do this while you didn't have a belief in God, you weren't baptized, you weren't this, you weren't that. Now you're stuck here. And
Oh, so
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
So
you're
it's like a lost
lost
soul.
soul.
Lost souls. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe though they have a choice to stay in that. Let's just say this is the purgatory era, because why not? But I believe that the soul chooses to stay there. Again, the lack of enlightenment. Again, you choose to stay there, even you choose to not go where you belong, the realm, the world. You choose to stay in the purgatory state because because you're sad, because you wish you could stay, or because you're having fun tormenting people and making people's lives or creating chaos. Seriously, like humans don't just go do chaos. People have I believe people who are like, what do they say, is it psychosis? They can see spirits and hear them influence like weak souls that are like tormented by these evil or unenlightened souls that stay in the purgatory place.
What
So
makes
It's
it
my belief.
evil?
the
What?
definition is basically like a place or state of punishment where the
Oh,
souls of those who die in God's grace may make satisfaction for past sins and so become fit for heaven. So it's for you to work through your past sins so you're fit to go to heaven. A place or state of temporary suffering or misery. I guess
temporary
it's a second
suffering or
chance to get
misery.
in heaven.
Second chance to come back.
Yeah, but that's when you
Again, if you
believe that
believe
you either
in
go to
that,
heaven or you
yeah.
stay in
So
hell.
honestly, I don't believe in that. So it's
Yeah,
just fascinating to hear where that comes from and to wrap my brain around that. You know what I mean? But that's
yeah,
not necessarily what I believe.
no.
I
If
don't
I had
believe
to,
souls are meant to be tormented and made to suffer. I don't think suffering is something known to a soul or spirit. I think that's more of a physical body human experience. What suffering is.
what do you mean?
I believe souls are free of any suffering. A soul or spirit is,
But
I don't know what the
what does the soul?
sensation.
When does the soul sense the sorrows? When does the soul sense the pain and the
I don't think
hard? It's
I don't
when it's
believe in that.
when it's in a body, though.
Right, right.
That's when it's
You can only
alive in a body.
experience
Yeah. So you're saying
that
after it
sensation.
dies, you
They don't
can
have
experience the
us.
sensation. Okay. But so does that take away your belief that souls exist? Like, let me put the
No,
ghost word. Okay. So you think
I
that they have no
believe.
feelings? They have no.
I don't know if it's I don't think it's I don't know how to describe
Okay.
it.
Because when we say
It's not
feeling, we
something
think of a carnal to be able to
physical or
feel.
emotional. No, I just feel like a spirit is how do I say? I
Well,
just
you
don't
don't
know
think
how to I don't know
as a spirit can be good or bad, right?
I don't believe that. I
So
believe
what do
the
You
you
don't
whole
believe?
believe in
idea
bad spirits.
No, I believe the whole idea of good and bad is something that we as humans created. That's my belief that
Yeah, but
when
what are we
a spirit,
humans? What are we humans?
We're a combination. We're mind, body, soul.
Okay, so we're the body.
I believe
right?
our soul is the purest part of who we are.
Okay,
And I
so
believe
when there's
that,
people who do evil stuff,
well, okay,
what about
this
their
goes
soul?
back
Their
to
soul's
my
pure and
back to when I read the Conversations with God book. So hey, that could be a recommendation for today. Why are we here? We're here to experience life as humans, to know what it's like to be in physical form, blah blah blah. And I believe that in order for us to experience things, there has to be opposites. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole universal law of, I believe it's polarity, where cold cannot exist without hot, up cannot exist without down, what we call good cannot exist without evil, pleasure without pain. And I believe that's something that's within this
within the body.
realm, within this world. I don't believe that those things, in a sense, I mean, they exist everywhere, but I feel like to experience that, you have to be in physical form.
So you feel that what could be a negative energy? Because isn't like, I think the good and the bad and the souls could be is a negative energy that you feel from a specific soul. There are people who are who are negative. Like we feel that when we're present with
Their
somebody
energy.
who's negative, whose
Yeah.
soul reeks negative energy. So yeah, I could
I
see
think
where
they're
you're
just
coming at.
operating in that vibration, that lower
Yeah, so if they're
vibration.
consistently in that negative realm always and they pass, that soul could have that negative realm until they
Vibration.
clear themselves from. I think that, like, I don't really believe,
and
like
in
you said,
purgatory, you see all the
yeah,
crazy things they did and say, I need to reincarnate again to make it better.
to make my soul better, because the
Better.
purpose of the soul is to be pure. The purpose of us to be here is to be energy, and our energy is to be positive. We try to be more positive than negative, but the negative energy is there. And some people, like they say, weak soul, that person is not enlightened enough to have the strength to be positive more than,
I think at
negative.
the core, we all, at the core, we all,
What's that?
like at our core,
Coordinates.
As
All
human
the way in
beings,
there.
we're all the same, right? Because again, energy is one thing, it just can be expressed in different ways. So it's just a matter of having, I guess, that not, I don't want to even say awareness, because I feel like the words that I'm using is not doing it justice. I'm serious. I don't think there are any words that can really explain
But like
that.
again, what makes us, like I can only use us as an example, to be curious enough to have these conversations with ourselves and or with other people. Like, what's the difference between me and Joe Schmo down the street who could never really think and go beyond to say, like, my soul is special. Like some people just don't even think
Yeah,
about that. Like,
right.
what's the
So
difference?
I recently watched the new movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's a new movie. I recommend you watch it. And basically, like, our lives are a series of decisions that we make, right? So there's infinite ways that your life could have turned out just based on a decision you made as a child, right?
Mhm.
When you think about it, Joe Schmo, and you and Joe Schmo could have started your lives in the same way, in the same house, same parents, but yet you maybe became this distinguished leader in your community, and Joe Schmo ended up in prison. Because even though you guys started at the same point, as the days go on, each day you're making a decision. Each moment you're making a decision, whether it's a decision to stay home or to go out, a decision to go to this school, a decision to not go to school. You know what I'm saying? Every single decision is branching your path into different areas. So you are where you are. You have the knowledge that you have based on all of the decisions you've made up until this point. And Joe Schmo decided to make different decisions. And that's why Joe Schmo is where they are. So again, that's another thing that I believe that we have unique to us as humans, is that ability to choose and to be able to create the life we want to live. But in order to do that, we have to have evil. We have to have good. We can't be able to be given a choice if we don't have one or the other. Then there's no choice. But once you're a spirit, I believe like things are all knowing. Like you see, like all the stuff that we're, I wonder this, I wonder that. Like I believe once you are a spirit, you know I don't know. Again, I don't know where I'm taking this, but
Yeah. No,
It's
quick.
deep.
You know, once you are a spirit, you know what?
You know what
like
your world's gonna be?
like you see everything. You know
Okay.
why you were in this life. You know why you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it. You know why Earth is here. You know what's beyond. You know all those
Yeah,
things.
you understand. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that they know the process of reincarnating and
Yeah,
life
like you
on
know all
planet
those
Earth
things.
is. And
And you
it
know why
comes with
people why people are the way they are and they do the things they do. And then from that point, like you said, Vanilla, like then I can choose to be like, you know what, I need to go back there again because I want to save my people or I
I
want
want to
to
get
see
more
this
knowledge
earth.
of life.
Or I just want to go play in waterfalls and swim in oceans. I feel like that's why I'm here right now. Like I want to go see waterfalls and climb mountains and, be one with Mother Earth. You know what I'm saying? Like once you know these things, or maybe like my next life, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I want to go. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like
She's
I
actually
feel
gonna like the cold next life.
I'm what? No,
You're
I don't
actually
think.
gonna
I
like the
think I
cold
think
on your
that's
next life.
I think I've evolved beyond that.
Be out the cold. Or I don't know, but do you think to just simple and kind of funny, leaving it at the cold? Now I said I've evolved past the cold. I'm never reincarnating. But
Mm-mm.
what if the soul says, because I had that thought that life is not beautiful in the cold, I cannot survive in the cold. You reincarnate in a cold ass environment in a
Alaska.
body and learn to
Love the cold.
Appreciate
love
the
the
cold.
cold, just as far as your knowledge, your process.
Possibly. Hey, again, I don't
It's a
know. To me,
possibility.
everything is a possibility. That could be my next life. I could be like, what? An Eskimo, like living in
Yeah.
an igloo. And
Yeah.
because I
I would
want to
I would
feel
love to
that.
be by your side on doing that one.
I don't know. All I know
Hopefully
is
I'll
this
remember
life.
you
All
in
I'm
the
saying
sun.
is,
I'll be like, do you
it's
remember
I
you
live in the
hated the
cold
cold?
New England because this is this is it. This is the way I'm gonna learn
But
to love it.
maybe we're
We're
here
loving
to
it.
learn to love all four
All
seasons
four
because every
seasons,
time like
exactly.
I tell people like that where I live and they don't live in New England, they're always like, that's great. You get to experience all four seasons. And that's something that I had to learn to appreciate because
Yeah.
yes, we get to see the leaves turn, we get to see the snow fall, we get to see the beautiful flowers as they bud on the tree, we get to experience beautiful hot humid summers, you know what I mean? Like I had to appreciate that. It's just I may like looking at the
The snow.
snow falling, but I don't want to be in it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it and I understand its cycle, you know what I mean? So maybe that's why I was put here. And even my
Yeah.
kids be like,
Very
"Why
good.
didn't you ever leave? Like, you could have left." Because why we say it all the time. Why did our parents choose to come
Here.
immigrate us to this area? You know what I mean? Again, it goes back to understanding our lineage and our family history and what was here. Why did they come here? And once you understand that, you're like, okay. And then I had the choice. I could have left. We all could have left, but we didn't. Why?
We
You
can
know what I'm
all
saying?
still do.
Right, we can all still do, but I'm just saying, like, up until this point in my life, I've still managed to stay here.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Why?
And maybe it's still a process for our soul to be even more evolved, to be able to do more things that we love by moving. But again,
Absolutely.
because this is the school of life, sometimes we linger and we find excuses to why we're going to stick around here. And that's, it's the school of life. We're learning. Maybe when
Another
you're
reason why
40, I mean,
when you're 40, you think she
I
20 years
meant,
old running these
when you're
streets?
like
You
60
think
or
she's
80,
20?
you might be like, I'm making the move.
And a
Now
lot of
you're
people
smart enough to be
do.
like, my bones
Mhm.
don't need this anymore. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
oh, if I only did it 30 years ago, there's all that comes with life and learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I can't think about Joe Schmo. Joe Schmo. That's all I have in my head. Joe Schmo.
Joe Schmo, Claudia's brother.
My name is Joe Schmo.
Remember, I was like, Joe Schmo and Claudia came from the same place. Not
Yeah.
me creating a whole story.
She could tell a whole book by Joe Schmo and Claudia.
Yeah. Case study.
Girl, afterlife. Just
Yes,
live your,
The
yes.
what is this thing about
afterlife.
living your best life? Just live,
Yeah. I mean, it's
learn.
good to think about these things and have these conversations, but also don't let it consume you because,
Mm-hmm.
again, no one's ever going to know until you get to that point. You know what I mean? And don't fear it because, again, it's all part of a process. Like,
Our brain is
Mhm.
beautiful. Use their brain power, and they tend to like tell us not to evolve. And a key to evolving is your brain. If
Questioning
you,
things.
yeah, that's what the control population wants us to do. Do not question. How you dare question me? So let's keep questioning. Like,
Or do
let's
not
not.
believe in success. How was the word? Succeeding, successive lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess succeeding or successive lives, whatever.
Yeah,
Don't believe
coming
in
after.
that. So no, I believe that we are supposed to believe in it, trust in it, and believing that is almost like letting us know of our responsibilities, right? That we
Mhm.
have. We're
I
responsible for our
say
actions. We're responsible for
Yeah, I say
to
believe in
question
anything that helps
things.
you thrive. You know what I mean? Deep down inside, you know what makes you happy. Like, believe in what helps you thrive, what helps you be a better person, what helps you enjoy life more. And if it is believing in a heaven and hell, and that's what it's going to take to help you be a better person, to love your neighbor, to help other people, to pursue your dreams, if that's what it takes for you, then who am I to tell you to believe in reincarnation? Who am I to tell you to believe in the afterlife? No, as long as you're not hurting me, you're not hurting others, and we're all in a sense here for the advancement of the human race, the advancement in protecting the earth, like all that stuff. As long as we're all moving towards that goal, how we get there, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
to each his own. But I do want us as a people to get to a point where we're all like on higher vibration, and where, like you said, Vanilla, like children aren't starving and people aren't getting killed. We know those things are not right. We all know we are at the point as humans of evolution that killing each other and letting each other starve and be hungry and all that stuff is not right.
We know, and I
Why?
know and we know, and then there's people who believes like, oh, it's how the world is.
But that's
For
not
us to
true.
get to the moon, those people have to starve and die because they're not enlightened enough to know that the soul is, I'm gonna say it, more important. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
That's really what you are, what we are. So, but some people really believe like, oh, that had to happen so we could reach what
and that
we're
goes to
reaching now.
wars, like soldiers
Exactly.
sacrificing their
Exactly.
lives for.
Exactly. War is the perfect,
That's why I
perfect
never
definition
understood
of our time
that.
for it.
Killing each other in order for the mass to be free.
Or better
That's
or
so
evolve,
twisted.
right?
That's so twisted.
And it's twisted because in reality, while we're on this planet, it's just so we could evolve material. And that's the worst. Evolving material is not the key. Love
Yep.
is the evolve that we want. The evolution of love is what a soul thrives for. And it shows, we can see it now, the people who like they on their whole path, the journey to become a better version of themselves, they give up on material things, they help out the needy, and they want to enlighten you, and some really know that they don't have so much control that they go into like they meditate 90% of their lives because they know that all I can do is tap into the reality, tap into that energy that I know everything like the world needs, right? And that's why there's a lot of beautiful collectives that come to tap in together to that energy of love, of knowing that God got us, right? And that's just beautiful right now because the sadhana that I'm doing is exactly that. Just remembering that Nai has been saying there's the evil, there's the bad. This sadhana is we're meditating like the negative thought, where we purposely think of a negative thought and then like
Let it
cool it
go.
off, let it go. So you can't just like, there's the negative energy, positive energy, or feminine energy, masculine
Mhm.
energy. There's both. There's that negative thought and they're both good and we need both of them. So
Mhm.
some people go into that state of meditation and in their way, they are helping the community by being in that positive. That's all they do. They're not feeding the hunger or doing that, but just that thought into the energy is helping us evolve as spirits and souls.
Yes.
That's me on Afterlife. We talked about so much stuff today.
I
That
know.
wasn't
Is
really
it really
Afterlife.
afterlife?
Is
I
this
mean,
an afterlife conversation?
everything's connected
Yeah.
ultimately. So,
So Afterlife, a spirit goes through two stages. There's the physical, which is the captivity stage of the soul, of the spirit in the body or in the matter. And then there's the ascending to the light, which is the other stage where the soul ascends to the light. And that comes with love and enlightenment. Peace. I'm done. That's my definition.
Point blank, period, mic drop.
Oh,
you guys want to point your afterlife?
I think I've said it.
Yeah, we said it somewhere.
Yeah. So we would love to know our listeners' point of view, what their thoughts are, what their questions are on afterlife and what our time here means.
Yeah, definitely. Because I would love to know if we should keep exploring this a little bit more, or just from this conversation, I wrote down many different topics from sleep to dimensions, yeah, life, purgatory. Well, we can talk about different stuff like that and shed some light into those topics as well.
Yes, it's all a learning and thriving. All right, let's wrap it up, ladies. Where can they find us?
Where all podcasts are podcasted. Find us on Twitter.
New word.
Find us on Instagram. Listen to us on Podbean, Google Podcast.
Spotify.
Yeah, we're there. We're out there.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just join the fam. We'd love to have you.
Join the SUaT fam.
SUaT fam
SUaT tribe or SUaT fam? SUaT fam is what we like.
SUaT fam, SUaT team, SUaT crew, SUaT tribe.
SUaT fam.
Whatever works for you. All right, ladies.
It's the team right here. Sorry. This is the SUaT team. We want you to be part of the SUaT fam.
That's right. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week.
Whoop, whoop.
Peace and love. Bye-bye.